Come check out the new Latari Elves expansion box and essentials pack.
Spiky bits.
What's up, Hobby Maniacs? Rob Baer with you again today, checking out some dope tabletop action with Runewars game from FFG. This is the first expansion faction for the game. I think this is going to be the big reveal at Gen Con, but we got it in the studio here. We can get our hot little paws on it and checking it all out. Now, unlike the starter that you can get currently, I think it's $100 US, which is right here, this bad boy comes with 2 factions and all of the tools, the maneuver dials, all sorts of cards and upgrade things that you're going to need to play the game. So when you pick up expansion packs, and we know that there's more coming in the future, you're not going to get that stuff in this expansion. So FFG created, ta-da, the Essentials pack, and this is only $25, so you can buy this to go along with whichever faction is out there. But you can tell that they're playing their favorites with their main factions, but then the expansion factions, if you don't already have the main starter box, well, then you don't need to pick this up. So there's no sense, you know, charging extra money or putting it in there and charging an inflated price. Now this is $60, like I said. The starter itself is $100, and this is $25. So either way, it's less than a starter, but you would only get one faction. So I feel like, you know, vote with your hobby dollars on what's good for you. But if you're just getting into the game, you're like, yo, those elves are fresh, let me just pick up this box, where you're also gonna need this essentials pack right over here as well. So don't F up, don't make a rookie mistake. Make sure you pick this bad boy up right here. Or conversely, if a friend has a starter and you're playing with him, well, maybe you can be super cool and use his stuff, and there wouldn't be an issue. So before we look at the essentials pack, I think the big thing that everybody wants to see is the new Elveses that come in here. Now remember, you have to paint these models yourself. They are gonna be that gray plastic. It's not the multi-part plastic, not that GW stuff out there. This is more on par with the Imperial Salt miniatures that FFG has previously put out. You're gonna get your all the stuff you need to play with the miniatures here, your command dials. Of course, that's not actually what they're called. No, actually, they are command dials. Okay, well, there you go. Upgrade cards, a special mission or special scenario right there. All of your tokens, your surge, your banes, your blessings, all that stuff, your rallies. Some new terrain pieces right here. A couple of extra tokens and things. This is a new rule. We'll talk about that here in a second. And your actual game aids, your on the table cards for these units right here. I love this game for that, because you don't have to have a bunch of books, you don't have to have a bunch of paperwork, a bunch of army builders. You just slap down your unit cards on the table and you're good to go. It's amazing. So 22 plastic figures in here. You're gonna get some new stuff. What comes in here? That's the new, let's see, I'm trying to remember. So you got the Lennox Riders, which are over here, your battle cats, right? Which we're about to see here in a second. You got your Amelheim Scions, which I think are just, is that the archers? No, I don't think that's the archers. No, these are Deepwood archers. So here's your Scion right here. And your new hero, remember, there is a hero that comes in the other Runewars starter that has a little bit of ninja elf background as well. But this is the first whole elf character we're seeing here. And this is Aliana Summer Song of the Summer Song. So pretty cool little miniature right there. Looks to be riding some sort of also crazy battle cat right there. So let's jump in and take a look at all of this. Now, unlike the starter that comes in a cardboard kind of cutout type thing, that's a little rudimentary and kind of hard to deal with. This has an awesome kind of clam pack plastic thing, so you can put your stuff together and hopefully kind of keep it in here and it won't like get smashed or anything. This has strength to it and rigidity. Got some little trays for your cards, your little battle trays, and remember, these are the things that snap together. Your dials and stuff you're going to assemble, so you're not going to have to worry about that. Here's the miniatures themselves, which once put into the trays, and let's see if these little trays, oh yeah, you can rank them up, so they thought of that. That's pretty neat. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like you can put full rank in there. You can't over here, so this is going to be your accessories area or something, or maybe your HQs. But you can definitely get it at least 1, 2, 3, at least 3 right there going across. Let's check it out. Since we got all of these readily available, we might as well, right? It's like playing Tetris. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, check that out. It looks like it fits. If it fits, it sits. There it is. Boom. Awesome. Awesome new tray. I can't wait. I hope more of FFG's games come out with this stuff right here, because that's really forward thinking. I really like that one. And then of course you got the instruction manual on how to put the models together, which we're going to take a closer look at the models themselves. Some fluff right here, little fluff story. New rules, which I'll just pause on. We're not going to spend a whole bunch of time in there. Some surge ability stuff. Overgrow, that was the token that we just saw right there. Damage pool. Lethal, when a unit attacking with lethal adds X damage to the damage pool. And protected, when defending, a unit with protected keyword subtracts X damage from the damage pool. So some pluses and minuses, so to speak, right there. Damage pool is really interesting. I hadn't seen that before. And Overgrow, if a player or units or upgrades with the Overgrow keyword can place Overgrow tokens on terrain, a piece of terrain that has an Overgrow token is overgrown terrain. This has no inherent effect, but some game effects interact with it. Player places a number of tokens equal to or less than X value of Overgrow. In his army, unlike other keywords, they have X value. Multiple instances are not combined. A piece of terrain cannot have more than one Overgrown token on it. If both players have units or upgrades with the Overgrow keyword, the first player places all Overgrow tokens he wishes to place first, and then his opponent does the same. And Surge Plus right here. So this means you can stack as many Surges, but you can only resolve them once per attack, which was kind of a question I had earlier with some of the miniatures that we had reviewed already. So that's kind of cool to see there that they kind of came out and said that. Now there has been a gameplay FAQ that came out in between these reviews, so I'm sure that might be catching up to it. I actually haven't read it quite yet. But there's how the Deepwood Archers go together, the Scion, the Lennox Riders, and the big cat herself right there. And then more tokens, which we already saw. There's that piece of terrain. There's that other piece of terrain that looks to be on fire with some sort of burning bush kind of type thing. The Overgrown tokens, the command dials, those go onto it. And remember, when you're assembling these, they have like specific terminology that goes on each one, so you know which one they match up with right there. And then also too, remember, if you're colorblind, or you're playing with somebody that's colorblind, they have the letters right here. Like for instance, this is blue, this is white, this is red, because I actually played with somebody that was colorblind, and they're like, wait, those are different colors? And I'm like, uh-oh. And then I was like, how are we gonna tell? And then I looked close and I realized that there was little letters right there to help with that. So FFG pretty much thought of everything at this point. Good guy, FFG, thinking of everything at this point. So let's zoom in and let's take a look at some of the miniatures. So here's the archers. We'll grab the archers here. And these guys, well, maybe we won't grab the archers. This is Super Battle Cat Lady. Let's check her out. She goes together pretty easily, it looks like. So she's gonna come with a custom base to get inserted into the base right there. This head is gonna slot right in, and then she's just gonna plop right on top, because it looks like her legs are already there, and she's kind of off to the side, almost like an Eldar Farseer. Crazy. Oh, it's like she's holding on to the, oh, she is actually. Okay, there we go. Got it. So let's zoom in on that. All right, so there you can see she's looking pretty fresh. Very cool stuff. But remember, this is not multi-part plastic. It can be painted, it can be primed. I would definitely recommend washing it down, but other than that, really cool miniature there. Once you get her put together and painted, it doesn't look like you need to heat her up or anything like that. It's all kind of ready to go right there. So very cool HQ unit for these guys. Next up, we'll grab one of the other Lennox Riders. I guess she technically is a Lennox Rider. I don't know how that works. Now, some of these guys go together a little weird. So first off, we've got this guy. We're gonna slot his torso. Oh, there's another guy underneath him. He's trampling a guy to death. No, get off my yard. And let's see, which one is this? This is the guy going like that. So he has, I can't tell. it looks like, is that how that goes? Almost looks like this slots in. Everything is very specific. Maybe that's not the right one. Sometimes these are a little fiddly. Well, I can't get that one to go in, and I'm not exactly sure which arm it is, but there you can see, pretty dope, pretty good detailed. Again, it's not your multi-part plastic, but for what it is and the price point it is, you do need to hobby on it a little bit, but it is pretty fresh. And there's 4 of those guys. Those are the Lennox Riders, and they're just gonna go into the bases straight away. And next up are the Archers, which you can see right here. They are a tad bit fiddly. This arm kind of slots in almost like you're literally pulling the bow with the arm itself, and then the head goes on separately right up here. But again, very cool looking, very well detailed for what it is, an affordable miniature for a rank and file game from FFG. So there's gonna be a squad of those, and then the Scion is a squad of 8 of those, and then the Scion is up next, and he is a ton of parts. Let's see if we can get them together real quick. Dun, 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 dun. So there's a base. I see a base. Boom. And then there's some squiggly legs. I like squiggly legs. Something like this. Slot and slot. Boom. So this is definitely like some sort of gnarled kind of tree type thing. And maybe a head slot. Nope. Head slot right there. There you go. So there's a dope head slot. Wow, this is going together pretty quick. And a head. A hollow head at that. And then some arms. So he's kind of like doing that whole like gas station kind of inflatable blow up creature promotional thing, I guess. He's just like very cool. I can only imagine how these guys actually move on the tabletop, but plenty of opportunity there to paint them up and do some super crazy spooky bark kind of type deal, which I think would be pretty neat. Unit card wise, you're gonna get, of course, everything you need to play. Like I said, another dope thing about these guys are all of the awesome game aids right there. And remember, when you're fielding in trays, you're gonna get 2 trays here, but at 17 each, your cost goes down if you field 4 trays, and your opportunity for available upgrades definitely goes up right there. So that's really neat to see. Definitely a hallmark of this game itself, and it's really cool to see. So lots of cool stuff. Now, I'm not all up on the rules as I should be, but you can tell by looking at this some of the abilities that are going to come with the units. There is a special scenario right there for a 4x6 table. It looks like you can have 2 fortifications and only 1 hill. Here it is, the Hunter's Quarry is your scenario. That is your deployment. And then you've got a couple of new pieces of terrain that come in the box. So there's your Damaron Fisher, your Latari Memorial, Wildroot Patch, and Thorn Choked Circle. Elevated Fortified, EIEIO. Lana's Windstalkers. After deployment, you may remove 1 allied unit of Lennox Riders from the play area, then redeploy that unit. That seems pretty good. Little crazy action. Of course, she's not gonna have. Oh, that's her cost right there. And then here are their special rules. So that was how you can field them. And here are their special rules with all of their melee abilities right there. Adding extra hits. You can get Surge, will give you some hits here. Double Surges, or double unique Surge. You got regular Surge. Impact hits, I always like impact hits on Cavalry. You've got some ranged attacks, some melee attacks over here, some Surge abilities. But you can definitely pause the video and check all of that out right there. So that is the unit cards. And next up will be the upgrade cards. Now there's a couple of special ones here. Let's see. The ones that are Latari only are going to be those green ones right there. So let's take a look at those. You've got, now there's 12 upgrade cards that come in the set itself. So here you go. And then of course you got specific ones here to Aliana and a little Scion guy right there. So there they are. Pause it and take a look. And on the generic side, you're going to see a bunch of cool stuff here. Rank Discipline, we've seen that in the past. Wind Rune, we've definitely seen in the past. Moment of Inspiration, I feel like some of these are making a triumphant return to an expansion, but there they are right there. Take a quick pause break and check them out for yourselves. And we'll go over to the Essentials pack to show you what you can get in basically the Essentials kit that you're going to need to play with this Latari expansion itself. And last but certainly not least is the Essentials pack for the Runewars game. Now remember, this will go with any of the expansions out there except for the main starter set. So as more and more expansions get released, you'll want to pick this up to go with the game, or so you can play the game regardless of faction, but it just happens to be coming out at the same time as the Latari Elves. Now, this particular set is only $25, and it's going to come with all of the maneuver templates, the scenarios, or excuse me, the deployments, the scenarios. You're going to get your generic upgrade cards that aren't faction specific to the Warcar and the Dakan. And then you've got your quick reference cards right here, some terrain, of course some dice, deployment zone markers, all of your runes, banes, the winds of the runes of magic as well right there. So the complete list is right here. You can check it out. Bust this bad boy out and kind of show you. Now this is going to be kind of, oh, and your menu and your measure dial too. So there's your dice, measure dial, little bowed, that's okay, and the punch outs for the rest of it. Then you're going to get your everything else, cards. There's your cards. Here's your other cards. It's not exactly as cool and clam packy as the starter itself over here for the Latari Elves, but here's all your upgrade cards. Your, oh, I forgot about that, your morale cards too. Those are super important. So you're going to get your morale cards and your generic upgrade cards right there, and all the rest of it. Now this isn't going to come with the quick start guide. Let's see, what is it? What do you get out of the starter? So you get the quick start guide, you get a lore guide, your rules reference, and the quick start guide. However, these are available on FFG's website for free download. So if you need them, you can download them and have the e-copies, but those manuals are not in here. Just everything you need to actually get going and have the, I guess, resources to play the game, and you just have to do a little bit of punching out, but other than that, that is pretty much it. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed our first look unboxing of the new Latari Elves Army Expansion Starter and the Essentials Pack for any of the new faction expansions out there from Runewars game itself. Now, if you like these features here on this channel, make sure you subscribe to us. Turn on notifications so you can be the first to thumbs up and comment on our videos, and head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access video, early access and commercial free videos. Become a veteran of the Long War today.